Hello everyone. So in this lecture I am going to give you an example of information gathering, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at how to use the Dimitri, which is a built-in Kali Linux tool, or the deep magic information using gathering tool. So we are going to be talking about how to use this Dimitri tool, which is an information gathering tool which is essentially combine all of the important aspect of information gathering in one package. Now the important thing is to understand about the information gathering is that there are two types of way of looking at it, and there are indeed two ways of approaching or gathering the information. From a target you can have like active, and it should be like Dimitri by default, and this will be the passive aspect of the information gathering. So it essentially allows you to perform lookups on IPs and domains, and it allows you to perform a subdomain search on your target. However, this is going to be based on actually actively targeting on or actively interacting with your target, but getting information from the public is very easy. So the public available information, so that you would have like a open source intelligence, or OSINT, which is short form, as it's also referred to as allows you to perform subdomain searches, and you have like email searches similar to what have the like harvester tool does, which essentially allows you to gather emails from the internet from various search engines or various websites giving to a particular organization. So it will allow you to perform a TCP port scanning, but of course no one going to use that for it, because we are already used TCP port using Nmap. So already have an Nmap tool for that, especially if it is a professional penetration test. So alright, so I am going to essentially cover all the important bits that you need to know, and how to fully utilize this Dimitri tool for information gathering, even if it is for passive information gathering. So let's get started. I already did all the parts, so let's just define how this works and how you use the Dimitri tool. So it is, as I previously told, it is already pre-installed on all Linux machines. So I am using Kali Linux, so it is already, as you can see, already pre-installed. So make sure you use the Kali Linux or any Linux distributor, and by default you can simply just open up Dimitri from in here. So that's been told that there is kind of deep magic going on. So very nice slogan in here. It's a very nice subtitle, so it does not give any insight of what this tool does because as you can see I already type help, because I am gonna see it will give us all the options that you need to use firstly, and it does not give us an insight into what the tool can do, but that's why we have the help menu in here, and that sort of give us an idea that all the options that we can use. So you can go ahead and check out for yourself any option, but we are gonna use also most of them in our lecture, and I will be showing you the most important bits in here. So performing a like a lookup on a particular address, it could be any IP address. It could belong to a server, whichever you get it from, and this is the tool Dimitri. Always look up on this particular IP addresses. As you can see I am already searching on a particular this IP address. Just simply type in Dimitri, and the parameter, which is my I. As you can see what I does, perform a lookup on the IP address of a host. So we are gonna look up in this host IP address, so which is also stand for IP, and we just type the IP address, and that IP address in my case I am just gonna use this 0.0.0.1, which is a very common internet IP block, and is used all around the world in various network devices like routers and embedded devices. So we can use, if we want to open it up, or you can see on the right in here, as you can see. So they will tell us that what you already know. So this is an IP block because the IP is not really publicly giving to it, so it is, but again it is a reference to a particular IP address, but I essentially specified the entire IP block in here. So there we have like network information, like we can see that the net name in here, as you can see, net name, and we can have a net name, and also like registration information. You can have like your area or region, like in here you can see Africa, Asia and North America. So this is pretty standard, so it is very widely used IP block. And just a little caveat here, that is, if you are wondering and also you can get a lot of, as you can see, country worldwide use, Europe and all of this uses this IP address. Now performing a lookup on a domain is again very simple. So we can just type Dimitri, and we are going to use this W. So what this W does, so it performs a lookup on a domain, that name of a host. So as you can see, so we are going to type this for your domain, and we can type in a domain like zonetransfer.me for a testing purpose. I use this, you can use any other as you want. Now this is a very simple domain, and it's sort of gives you information, but this information is, as you can see, which is very simple, and this information are a bit of record which notice in here, so which you can pretty much use, but again the output seems to have been jabbed. As you can see, there is now in here. So it uses sort of like a defined format, or the encoding is set incorrectly with this script, but in any case it gives you the important bit of information right over in here. So for example, you can have like domain name, as you can see, zonetransfer.me. So you can have like domain name and registry domain ID. This is the registry domain ID, registry server, registry URL. This is the registry URL, and you can see updated date, creation date, registry expiry date, and all of this information in here, which is, I think, is quite important. And it's as you can see at the end in here, it's written as a defined format, or the encoding is set incorrectly with this script, but in any case it gives you the important bit of information right over here. So when this domain was last updated, you can see in here, as I told, last updated. So with this domain, when is this domain lost, like update in regards to its ownership, then you can have like creation date, registry expiration date, expiration data, which is like in, I think, December 19, as far as I remember. So this is a quite cool tool. And then you can have like other information like registrar, contacts, email, and pretty much all the information that you could want. And it does give you a register and company, as you can see, register and company, name and server both in here, and also DNS sec, which is unsigned. So In summary, you can see a lot of valuable information in here. Also, you can get bit like other information given you on whether or not the domain does have, which is like protection. So we lay the, so it gives you the information or the register and the individual that the registered domain, or if you do have a domain protection or who is protecting for your domain, and essentially get block all the information for being accessed. So if you do perform always, essentially it will get get all together. So that is how to form or look up on a domain. And now that you have a TCP port scanning, so I won't be talking about that because subdomain and numeration, because again that uses a publicly available information, so you are not going to get anything that possibly might be accurate. So we will focus with these kinds of that will give you the real information that you can trust, or information that is reliable and up to date. So you have like TCP port next coming, which is very simple. So again you can type like Dimitri and use this P, specify the P, this is the port. So then we are gonna scan my router. So this is the my router IP address. So we are gonna scan this router IP address, and this will just give the gateway as we operate the information. So as you can see, it doesn't give a lot of information, but it gives a little bit information, because the scan my router and gets all the information. And we can see the host name and gateway that we already know, and we have the port. As you can see, we have the 80 TCP port is open on my this IP address. So very simple, and it essentially perform a very quick scan, and it scans for, as you can see, 150 ports, and the 148 ports are in closed. So alright, so this scan completes that there, and now that we know and look to perform a TCP port scan, now let's take a look at and how to look up server uptime with a Netcraft. So as I said, these all regards of the publicly available information. So to do that, we type in Dimitri, and we use the n command because it's going to use the Netcraft. So for Netcraft, use n, and we're going to use this IP address, or sorry, this web address. And so again we can use zonetransfer.me, and there where we're going to retrieve, as you can see, couple of information, and we retrieve the network of information for zoning, and for some reason it also give us the host IP address, but it doesn't give a lot more. So let's try another website. So as you can see, similar Netcraft, Dimitri, use the Netcraft for my n, then you use the H exploit. This is the another website. So then as you can see, this is sort of the issue with this passive information gathering, and again we don't get any information. So we don't get any information related to this, and which is pretty relevant because it's we do not get any information, and we do not sign up for these statistics at the Netcraft as well. So finally we have the email. Search again, so which is this, just type Dimitri and -e for email and zonetransfer.me, and use the e parameter. For the e option, we specify the domain of our target domain. So we can say just that zonetransfer.me is the domain. So we can obviously use the Google search engine for any valuable information. As you can see, it uses the Google search engine. So regarding of this particular domain. So let's just try another example. Let's just try a popular website, as we all know, bbc.com. So let's see, we would rather gather, or we would gather any publicly available email address that are linked to public bbc.com. domain. So, and for this I would recommend using the harvester, because you can see you are not get anything over in here. So for email, always use the harvester tool for that. And finally, outputting your result. So which is again very simple. Just type Dimitri for output. Just type type IE, the I for essentially say for the IP address, which is this one, for O for output, and we are gonna save this output at result.txt. So it's going to give me all the information that is stored in this result.txt file. So it's again, it will be saved in root folder, because I am on root. If you are on desktop mode, so it will saved on a desktop. Because I am on a root mode, it will saved all this result.txt file on a root directory. So the real charm of this is that it will comes in the form of combination of various parameters that we have already seen, and how to get the comprehensive information and data about your target in one shot. So remember, instead of performing each of these individuals, you can just combine this parameter and give you a comprehensive scan of that what you are looking for, all in regards to passive information or other. So for example, the command I would run is if I am targeting the domain for outrun. So who is the lookup on a particular domain, and is the server time of the netcraft. So as you can see, the command I would run the target domain outrun, so which is going to look at this particular domain, and this savable as result.txt if the netcraft is available. So I can just try the Dimitri and WN, or I can use WSN, which is again also look for the subdomains, but I will use WN and then WNPE, because I can specify PE for the emails that which again is not going to give us information that we already don't know, but again this is all the passive information. So let a lot but put into this txt file. Again, as you can see, this is the txt save file, so we are going to save this on this file. So just it will give us the basic information, and it will put all the results that we have and put the results on a desktop. If you are in desktop, it will save in a desktop, or it will save all of those in our root or result.txt file. So it's going to start gather all the information. As you can see, it will take some time, so make sure you give it a couple of minutes, like 4 to 5 minutes if it takes, because it will load up a couple of information, and then this will essentially just combine all of those and it will just doing a automated into a one sort of scanning in one shot. So for this view, so the comprehensive guide using this tool is sort of gathering all the passive information on your target, and this is a great way of doing that. So after this, just as you can see, this will complete all the scan. Just then go to this directory. As I have my root directory, you may have in your desktop directory if you are not in root mode. So after that, it will save all of this into result file. So what you have to do now, you have to go to your root directory to check. So let me just log in as root. So let's go to our root. As you can see, this is the result.txt, as I already typed 2txt because the last txt is the extension and we type the result.txt as our name. So as you can see, it gives all the information in here. So after the scan is completed, and if you open up the file, and you can see over here there's the result that gives, and it gives us the IP address. As you can see, this is the IP address, and so and nothing more, because which is quite sad, because the Dimitri tool wants which is a very good tool, but there you are. And those of you who wanted to know about Dimitri and as of end how to use our maximum is capability or full potential, and there are all of this, you can just save the output all of this in here, and it will give you all of this. As you can see, lots of result and information of this particular domain. So that's how you use and gather the information using this Dimitri tool. So I guess I covered most of the important one in here. So that's all for this information gathering.